services, or to discuss an upcoming project, visit www.ironhideconstruction.com or call 402-420-4961. Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you or someone you love struggling with substance use? The Bridge Behavioral Health in Lincoln offers outpatient therapy for those 19 and over. The Bridge is conveniently located in the South Haymarket and near city bus lines. With payment options through insurance and a sliding fee scale, services are available for any adult 19 and over seeking help. Call 402-477-3951 to learn more or schedule your appointment today. The Bridge Behavioral Health is a local substance use treatment facility offering hope and a solid foundation for recovery through substance use treatment and behavioral health interventions.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line, here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Play ball!
Ready to unleash the fun with Salt Dogs Baseball? Join us at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed games running through August. Stay ahead of the game by visiting saltdogs.com for updates on exciting promotions, giveaways, and events happening each week. Experience a change-up from your typical family night, or make it a Grand Slam good time with friends and coworkers.
Strike three, you're out!
Don't miss the fun happening all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the 93.7 The Ticket studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Inside the Huddle with Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. Another big play by the Blackshirts.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
What up? Happy Sunday. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle. Brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Do a great service to you when you go in there for all your imaging needs, and then also gives you a detailed plan to hopefully get on the mend. Also this week, Harrison, we had Dr. Finn in. Had a really good, if you guys get a chance, go back and listen to that. About a good 30 minutes. It was covered a lot of things in the technical terms of knockouts.
I've been spreading that information.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild when you think about it.
I always say when you go into, if you get in a bar fight, say, I'm about to trip out your system real quick.
Yeah, I can't. Dr. Finn, I need to text him again for what the answer is.
Yeah, but it's just interesting just from the medical standpoint what really happens.
Yeah, if you get swiped sideways on the chin, that's where the real lights, that's when the lights turn off.
Yeah, that's the one-hitter quitter, and then you could lose your equilibrium and stuff like that, and that's where you get the little drunk legs, and then the ones where your body tenses up. I think those are the most scary, and I saw that a few times in the NFL. So we appreciate them coming in, Dr. Finn, Dr. Razdan, and obviously everybody at over there at AMI. And again, they're 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. They do a really good job of customer service, getting you in, then also putting you on the right path along with them. We're good teammates, and so those are always appreciated. But look, they had the first scrimmage yesterday over their Huskers. Mm-hmm. Before we get into that, I want to give a shout out to the men's and women's basketball team pulling 2 gold medals out, battling the 2 Frenchies both time, and the women 1 by 1, men won by double digits, and obviously, Steph Curry and LeBron, the last 2 times, they really did a good job of setting forth their legacy, dominance when they need to. The young guys, they said,
Hey, D-Book signed. Hey, D-Book was nice.
D-Book was quietly like Drew Holiday.
Yeah, defensively, he was good.
Defensively, he was excellent. Hit some other shots, and look, D-Book is one of the guys, in my opinion, of the young Americans that has a chance to be a figurehead in the league, right? And in this process of what he's going through the Olympics and getting out of his own way and being there, I think is a big step for him. I think it helped. I think. Well, I wouldn't say it helped. I think his experience of playing with KD and Beal, I think this year, you know what I mean, where you got 3 superstars, and Beal kind of plays the same way, finding another way to get in where you fit in, like we like to say, was huge, and it paid off. And there was a lot of pressure. Steve Kerr was under a lot of pressure, not playing Tatum, and in times not playing Embiid. I think Embiid started to play better as he probably got in shape, but they were able to pull it out. And
I don't get the Steve Kerr criticism.
I don't
Tatum.
Either. Well, it's
you got a bunch of superstars that someone's.
They
not
probably have
play.
too many guys on their team. You got 12.
Yeah,
they probably need 10.
And
we didn't play 8.
We didn't blow teams out of the water, really.
Right?
Like there's a few games, sure, but I mean
that was going to happen no matter who you had on the team.
Yeah, someone's going to sit.
So you probably had too many, and I think Tatum winning a championship, and Brown not being on the team. And then also bringing on White, whether it's a Nike athlete or whatever, politics. And look, it's hard to believe that he couldn't play a minute, but I think probably the communication when it did happen was very clear to the players prior to. That's why, I think they were okay with it. And to be honest with you, if Tatum probably could tell you very frank, obviously, off air, now documented, he probably said, "Yeah, I hadn't been playing. He didn't play well in the NBA playoffs."
That's what I'm saying. Like Brown was clearly Brown and Holiday were kind of carrying that Celtics.
Brown
team.
was the alpha.
Hell, you even had a Al Horford game before a Tatum game,
right?
And
Brown was that guy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, this year
I think he probably should have been on the roster if you're going to pick a Celtic. But I get what you see in Tatum.
And I like it. I like that. I felt like if you bring White, you already have it with Holiday, but he probably gives you a little bit more range for threes.
That's what you need in FIBA. You need 3-point shooters.
Right. And they probably had enough of those kind of wings, and so then they knew KD would come back, and so nevertheless they were able to pull it out. So it was good for them because obviously they're the best team, but there's a lot of pressure when you are the best team, and there's been times the U.S. has let themselves down.
Well, that's the only team that could have got a silver in basketball. The entire world would have been like, man, these guys are terrible. Any other country could have got silver, and everyone like, that's incredible. But if you're USA, like it's gold or bust.
That, and if they would have lost, it would have been LeBron's fault, no matter what.
Yeah, they would have found a way.
They would have found a way. But they found a way to win, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, Noah Lyles can't really talk too much anymore. He's got to put that one to rest for at least 4 years.
Magically, I don't know if that, with the whole AI thing now on X or Twitter or whatever, like he tweeted out that he doesn't have COVID anymore. Like you got rid of COVID in like 36 hours?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the whole story is. Apparently, he had 102-degree fever, but he had COVID and he was still allowed to compete.
But then he pulled out a 4x1. But then, like a day and a half later, he put out like a test that he's COVID free. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day,
I have no idea.
Who knows? If you ever get the chance, Harrison, to watch the Netflix, I think it's called Sprinter or whatever. It's kind of like Receiver, where they follow a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Noah Lyles is a lot to handle. If I was a competitor, and what's funny is the young man, I think, that won the 200, and he's like, I could never be the face of track and field because I'm not arrogant. But he's sitting right next to him, saying it. I would have punched Noah Lyles by now. Just walked right up and just stole on him. I mean, because of some of the stuff he does he'll be right next to somebody like, yeah, he's garbage. They ain't never, and I get it. It is mental.
Yeah.
Because if it's in your mind and you could get, in this case, a tenth of a second better start, you win world championships, golds, and then a lot of things come up. So it is mental.
And he did get a gold, to be fair. But the 200 was when he was kind of talking like, I'm going to win. And then
it was a guarantee. He was actually more favored, I think, based off what he did in the Worlds on the 200 and the 100. But at the end of the day, that's just part of the deal in track and field. But it is interesting.
Yeah, and I'll play devil's advocate a little bit. Feels like a scapegoat, but they were trying to say the difference in like language barrier, like trying to argue that the term like arrogant, like there was trying to figure out a way to say that, like by him just being
flamboyant.
Yeah, not maybe he wasn't trying to say arrogant, but that could be a scapegoat argument to make.
Yeah, and I mean, look, Carl Lewis was, I guess, quote unquote, a diva, high maintenance, probably operated with a little bit more class. And that's what you had to do back then. If you operated like some of these modern day athletes right now, you definitely would be blacklisted and blackballed.
Well, we had the one out of the USA shot put and just started twerking after, which was crazy. Yeah. Like, congrats on the goal, but I like a little bit of more professionalism.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? Everybody's trying to get the clicks and, impressions and stuff like that.
Could be wrong, make more money doing that.
Right. So they know, any press, or even as bad or good as bad press is good press. But nevertheless, it's about to be the closing ceremonies probably in about 2 hours here.
Yep.
And then it's on to LA. And so we'll see what happens. Obviously, Snoop it was a big factor over there in France. He's probably going to be even a bigger factor in LA in 4 years. But and then also the women's volleyball team, I think, lost.
Yeah.
A little surprising, but I just think look, there's more people walking the face of the earth. I think there has been like more kind of the athletes are better. I think the American influence on every sport has went overseas, and so you're going to see stiffer competition. So nevertheless, they'll probably go back and try to revamp some things, and so they can pull out a gold in LA. So the pressure is going to be on every American athlete and every group, obviously volleyball, basketball, and everything, to pull it out on the home turf. So it starts now, but on to what has started and is in full effect. The Huskers had a close scrimmage yesterday, and it's just the first one. And I always say this, with Nebraska, as much as you have some veteran players, they have a very young team, I think, overall. But they have a young team, but they have experienced young players. You had a good mix of true freshmen last year that were played. So you got some young guys that have either played somewhere else or played here. So it's not a high school-led team. Like when I think Frost was here and they played Illinois, when Lovey was there, they were all freshmen.
Yeah.
And then you knew they were going to be good. And then Brett Bielema, got the benefits of it.
Then he had the COVID reset, and then we got Young again.
Yeah, and that was on purpose, but it was different. It was different. See, this is what before we get into Nebraska or whatever. This is what people. I keep saying this. What people don't understand is, and I'm just making excuses for Scott and all those guys. Generally, when you come in and you have that long of a contract, you get to reset the roster, and that's normal behavior, whether it's Dion, whether it's even you seen at Miami with Cristobal, or when Norvell did it, that's just what happens.
Yep.
And this is way before transfer portal and even before NIL. When COVID hits and you don't have a winning fabric and a winning tradition in your program, you are 2 years behind. And so like when COVID hit in Michigan, Ohio State, even say Penn State, Iowa, those teams, guys are going, remember you just dispersed all over the place. They already know what the work is. They already know what the standard is. They already have winners on their roster because they've won Michigan State and all that. And then you come back and then it's almost like Nebraska's roster was stuck because you weren't able to practice. You weren't able to develop because you didn't have it.
Yeah. And they were all young.
And they were all extremely, truly young. Yeah. Right. Now, I think, maybe Coach Rule and the guys are benefiting because you got the Ty Robinsons, you got Nash and some of those guys. And so I always say this, the first game, much like this first scrimmage, is always the hardest. And it's the hardest part because the nostalgia of camp is over because of this. You're in, I don't think they wear pads at the beginning. You know, like when we did, our first 2 days, we ride in full pack.
Yeah, I'm not even entirely sure anymore. They keep tweaking that
I'm
rules
sure they
for safety.
I'm sure they don't. So and then you get, you hit a little bit, then you get time off, then you go through a full week of practice, and then it's your first scrimmage, and you're kind of going against guys you can kind of predict a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, and so then you're going against, you got some veteran guys that know kind of okay, it's a scrimmage. I'm cranking up the intensity a little bit. Younger guys that think they know, but maybe it's not just ingrained in them. And then so it's a little bit choppy. That's the hardest. That's why the first one is hard. For me, it was the hardest. And just like from week 1 to week 2 during the season, the best thing is you want to see a jump from first scrimmage to second scrimmage. And I would tell you, like, for me, obviously when we have scrimmages in basketball, you'd like to just start off and just be playing at your peak. But sometimes having mistakes, you can get their attention. You know what I'm saying? Like things that, okay, now I got your full attention. So when I was telling you, Harrison, footwork, I want the calls out a second faster because it helps you react to the play a second faster. And you're like, oh yeah, because we're in practice. And then I'm assuming in the scrimmages, a lot of times, like when I remember I was talking to somebody when I played for Greg Williams, and I remember Greg doing this versus like kind of inexperienced coaches when I went to Houston. When we had an inter squad scrimmage against the Browns, and we went from practicing to we scrimmage, you know what I'm saying? It was, when we practiced, there was chatter. Hey, Harrison, watch out for the switch route, blah, 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 this, and this. Scrimmage, coaches didn't say anything because we had to figure it out. Versus, I'll never forget this. We were playing down, we were playing the Tennessee Titans in Nashville. And they used to run this, we'd run cover 2 on the backside, so we'd flip it instead of running cover 8, we'd call it cover 6. So we'd run 4 on one side, 6 on the boundary. So it's pretty much cover 2 to the boundary. So I was on the boundary. And the defensive back, I would never forget it. So Aaron Glenn had been in the league for probably 10. Aaron Glenn was a Pro Bowl corner. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's a defensive coordinator at Detroit. He knew everything. He knew, he would tell me what to do. Like, hey, watch this or do this so I can make a play on it, And I remember the defensive back coach lifted up his thing. He was like, hey, you're in cover 2. Do this. Well, Derek Mason is there, and Steve McNair is the quarterback, and they ran and so they usually would run like a comeback, so you would jam him and you'd actually let him go inside. Then I would try to steal it. Well, they turned that comeback into a post. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Aaron
trying to catch you running.
Well, they knew what it was, right? And we stole that defense from Tampa the week before, right? Now I would tell you, Derek Brooks played it a lot better than I was, and that's the difference between Hall of Famer and just a good player. And Aaron Glenn, when we got to the sideline, when I tell you he M&F'd him and pulled it, I mean, he chastised him like a kid. And it was just because of the, you know what I'm saying? And so, and so that's what you want is a coach, is see guys how they react, and then you want to build towards it because it is a process. Because again, you have a young team that had some success last year, wasn't able to get over the hump. In order to get them confidence, right? They got to fail, recover, fail not as bad, recover, exceed or succeed, and then exceed. It's a process. People don't understand that. And then, so that's probably where they're at. And
hopefully we failed enough at this point.
Well, no, I'm just saying for me, right? So like I was playing linebacker, you have I remember I was a redshirt freshman. You have the first scrimmage. I played okay, made a couple plays, but just had a couple things that were either mistakes or minuses that I had to clean up, right? And so just say it wasn't this much, but just say there was in the whole scheme of things, there were 6, right? So for me, to my standard, that's just an average day, and to my standard, below average. Well, then you want to take that 6 down to 4 or less that next week. And then as we get to the next game thing, then you want to start nitpicking at things, and it's actually only one, and then I'm succeeding, and then I'm exceeding what I did before. You get what I'm saying? So that's probably where they're at, and and this is the hardest week in camp right now coming up.
Why is that? Just because?
Well, you had your first scrimmage.
Right.
Now the anxiety's starting to get, because now you actually have a tangible result. Now the wolfing, I would have made that play. All that, hey, that's gone, because now we've seen you live in action against live bullets. Right. That's gone. That's number one. Number two, the anxiety of competition is there. So if me and you are competing, and say I had a little bit of a lead, you get a little bit of closer. Now we got anxiety. I got anxiety like Harrison's nipping on my heels. You got anxiety. It was like, can I get to that?
I'm running out of time here.
I'm running out of time, but I'm so close. Now that goes to the whole magnitude of the team, because the game is 20 days away, right? 3 weeks, right? But it's close, but yet so far. You're not 3 months, you're 3 weeks. And this week is the hardest. I would always say the next 10 days, because this is where the competition is going to get thick. This is where I would assume the intensity is going to be jacked up like a mug, right? Both internally and, well, I wouldn't say externally, but just
depending on what they're allowed to do.
Well, no, like for me, my intensity is going to be cranked up, because it's time for me to separate myself. That's what I would be thinking. That's what you'd be thinking. And then obviously, as you get closer to the game, your sphincter muscle gets tight. You got to think. People don't understand that this is why football is the hardest sport to play. I always say the hardest thing to do in professional sports or a sport is hit a baseball. And then, depends on who you play with. Golf too, right? Because the ball ain't moving.
Yeah.
Football is the hardest sport to play and be successful at, because you practice 95% of the time. 95% of the time, and you play 5. So that's why the pressure is so huge. And that's why when you do something spectacular, that's why you live, that's why you're like your hero status, legendary status, because it's hard to do. Winning a game, especially at the NFL, is hard to do. Now in college, it's hard to do. So that's why it's such a big deal. And so that's where the intensity comes from, because the game is getting closer, but it's yet so far. So you see the game here, you see the end result, right? And that's what everybody likes. That's the cool thing, right? But the work is to be done. So it takes superior focus, because whether you're in competition with 1 or 2 people, for reps and starting position, whatever it may be. But then also, if you're somebody that's started and played and established yourself, you have the competition, which should be higher than competing against other people with yourself. What do you have to find something to work on? You know what I'm saying? I mean, by my senior year, I'd started for 3 years. We won, at that time, 3 national championships. I'd started in 2. I was just on the team in 94. And then here I'm going into my senior year. So I had to really focus on becoming a better player, a better leader, a better student of the game, and a better, essentially, extension of the coach. Right? So my job was to try to leave a legacy of, when I'm gone, that these guys are hopefully taking something away from I did, whether it's the way I worked, the way I communicated, whether I showed more empathy, but then also was able to hold people accountable, and then let them hold me accountable. And then also go out there and work on things. Like one of the things I wanted to work on my senior year was I kept a stat for myself, right? Was yards after first hit when I made tackles. That was something I worked on diligently from spring, and then I trained in the summer, and then obviously executed in the fall, and obviously through the season.
How does that communication get lost? I don't know if you've been watching the series with Nebraska football. You kind of heard Isaac Gifford talking about when the standard dropped. How does that happen to where you
from
go,
when I was there?
Just in general, you go from an elite defense to where something happens where that next unit of development just isn't picking it up. Is that coaches, players, accumulation of the both?
I'd have to see it. I didn't see it. I mean, I could only. I mean,
because what he's talking about,
we would be here for 5 hours a week ago. I mean, I think, the easy thing is to blame it on the coaches, right? And the other easy thing is to blame it on the players. I think it's a little bit of a change of standard, and this is way after I left, right? things started to change, and then college football started to change, and then we made an impulsive decision to change the identity of Nebraska. And so it just wasn't. So when you go to from the most physical team in the nation, which we were, and whether if we weren't we were definitely one of the top three.
Yeah,
most likely the top most physical team, to an offense that's totally different based on what somebody else did halfway across the country, which would be USC at that time, to a more let's just say finesse, try to be finesse. You take out if you have a finesse offense, what you think your defense is going to be? Finesse, right?
Softer.
You can't replicate physicalness if you're not practicing. I mean, you just can't. And then it was the perfect tidal wave for Nebraska to kind of tumble down the thing. I mean, I hate going all the way back to this because it's such a long time ago. But you asked, college football changed. There was more network. So coming here and waiting and getting developed to play maybe wasn't as appealing, and we started to lose a little bit of our national prominence. So they could go to another place and play right away because they'd be on TV. And then you go from there. Then it was an uptick, and where Bo had it going in the right direction, but the Big 12 was different. It was more like let's see if we can just light up that scoreboard. Well, then you come to the Big 10, the new Big 10, right? It's not the old Big 10. It's the Urban Meyer effect Big 10. Whereas this is essentially we are trying to make this into and match the SEC, and the SEC started to take off. And then that's where you get. But right now, I think that they're in the going in the right direction. And then it goes into the defense. You can get into the coordinators, whether I think Bo and staff, they had a pretty good standard defense. They played pretty good.
Yeah, I mean that 09 defense goes up there with some of the best defenses of all time. That's not even
stat wise, realistic wise, not really.
I don't know. I think that team was incredible on defense. I mean, we had no business being anywhere near.
They were good on defense. They were one of the top 10 probably. Lower half of the 5. So. But Harrison, the defense we were rolling with from like 92 on, dog.
They're still one. That's still the best.
But but again, you had that standard.
Exactly.
And then Mike Riley comes in, right?
Yeah.
I think Banker had him top 30 before he got let go. And then you went to a totally different defense than Bob Diaco without the personnel. And then, then you just kind of spin your wheels a little bit. But I think I will say this, and this is what I'll say before we go to break, and we'll continue this conversation. We'll dip into a little bit of Colorado. Then we got a pretty big announcement as well. That when you as far, I always felt like this when I was down there with Frost and then obviously left. I felt like the young guys down there had to hold their tongue and was waiting to do the right thing. And some of the other guys were kind of just, going through the motion. It's not taking any shots at anybody. I just felt like they were already kind of programmed, and they were playing hard and all that. But these young guys were wherever they got these guys from, they didn't like what they were seeing. That's the Isaac Giffords. That's hopefully the Ties and Nashes. And it's a unique process because you're such a young guy. You can't say anything. You can't because you don't hold no weight.
Yeah,
you ain't starting. You what do you? And so I think that's where you're starting to see a little bit more self-led, what you like, player-led defense. So and hopefully the team, and so that that's only going to bode well when times get tough. So anyway, that's the first segment inside the huddle. A lot of stuff to cover there. We'll cover a little bit more about what camp like and Deion Sanders, boy. Hey,
he's aging fast over there.
Man, that beard is great, man. He looked like he's almost like at Lovie Smith because I always say Lovie Smith looked like Papa Smurf.
That's exactly what I thought.
Papa Deion. Anyways, we're gonna take a quick break. Come back. Jay Foreman inside the huddle. Brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. We'll be right back.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, Play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Do you have gently used books just waiting to be given new life in the hands of new readers? Linked to Literacy can help. We're gathering books for our second annual Wordstock event at Antelope Park on August 24th. It's a community-wide book swap where people can shop for free books and enjoy fun activities. From now until August 19th, you can drop off your book donations at several locations throughout Lincoln. So gather up books for both kids and adults and find a collection site near you at linktoliteracy.org. Then plan to join the fun on August 24th.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh yeah, this is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Have an anniversary coming up? I've got you covered. Celebrate your love with the timeless elegance of jewelry. This anniversary, give the gift of sapphires, emeralds, rubies, or gold. Find the perfect piece that reflects the beauty and depth of your commitment. Whether it's your first anniversary or your 50th, surprise your loved one with a gem as beautiful and rare as she is. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Are you a healthy non-smoker? Solarion, one of the world's leading clinical research organizations, is seeking people like you, 19 to 64 years old with excess weight, to take part in a research study. You could earn up to $22,500 for participation. This study includes 1 10-night stay, 5 2-night stays, 1 one-night stay, and 17 returns. Learn more at helpresearch.com/dub or call 8662-13-2965.
You already know that Select Plumbing takes care of all your plumbing needs, including water heaters, faucet repairs, leaks, drips, sump pumps, and more. Now, they're able to help you with your heating and air conditioning as well. Select Plumbing has recently expanded into residential heating and air, and they're excited to bring this new service to their complete list of plumbing services. Call to book an appointment today at 402-560-6197 or go to selectplumbinginc.com. Serving Lincoln, Seward, Milford, and the surrounding areas.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
How about the top 4 games? But I think week 2, Colorado, of course. You know, you got prime time coming in, and you want to shut him up because if he comes into Lincoln and figures out a way to get a win, you will never hear the end of it. And then I think week 9, Ohio State. Who are we as a football team at that point? But if we go in there and actually compete and give ourselves an opportunity to win, now you got to be talking about us. We got to be in the contention. Week 12, you come back, you're at USC. And then I think week 14 at Iowa, drop the Iowa game. That's a bad look because that's the last taste that you get in your mouth before the bowl game.
HealthLink is elevating the human experience with holistic health, weight loss, nutrition, fitness, and wellness solutions. They offer one-on-one health coaching while personalizing nutrition and wellness plans for structure and simplicity. HealthLink provides nutritious foods such as high-protein entrees, meal replacement snacks, and supplements. But that's not all. If you mention 93.7 The Ticket, you'll get a 5% discount on your order and $20 off your first month if you start a HealthLink subscription. Find your missing link with HealthLink today on the southeast corner of 70th and Pioneers or by phone at 402-858-9356.
Back to Inside the Huddle, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging. Here is your host, Jay Foreman.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle. Brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. Just put a bow on what it's like to be in camp right now. That's why we call it Inside the Huddle, giving you a little inside knowledge. Like I said, it's I would think, at least for me, depending on, it didn't matter when, how long I was, long in my college career. It's just definitely when, my intensity would be even higher, just because you start to prepare. If you put a lot of effort and mental, thoughts and wants and passion into the sport that you love, then you're going to get competition coming down the pipe here pretty soon, and then the season goes. Even though you play 12 games, it goes by very quick, and so you don't want to miss any opportunity out that. And being in camp and doing your best is just part of it. And it sucks right now because you're hitting the same guys. I probably get tired of seeing you, Harrison. You get tired of seeing me, and then I probably just want to just go smack you just because that's the way it goes.
At least it's not 100 degrees out there
anymore.
Like, it cooled off at least for a week.
But that's when I got to really crank it up, though, because you got to find a way to, really, make it. You want that pressure cooker. That's the only way you're going to see who can survive, man, and that you can count on.
I'm sure it's helped with conditioning. My Lord.
Yeah.
Those guys better be in shape by now.
It's everybody's going to be in somewhat good a shape, but I think mentally, if you can execute, concentrate, and physically withstand hard practices, this is what you go back on, and this is what this gives you that confidence that I can get through anything, and not just get through it. Actually, I can get better through it. So I should change myself. You get better through adversity. So anyways, on to, our hated rival that's coming in week 2, 6:30 at night game. Hopefully it's going to be electric, but Deion I'm going to tell you one thing about Deion, right? Like him, love him, or hate him, I got a lot of respect for him, because everybody generally comes in and tries to just do what everybody else does. He's coming in doing it his way. He's handling the media, his team, and everything else the way he's wanted to do it. So you got to give him respect in that way. So whether it works, it's either going to work or not work.
Yeah, we'll have a blueprint for it either way.
Yeah, or that's just the Deion way. So, whether he gets another opportunity after this, whether it's, it works and he goes on to bigger and better things, or if it doesn't and he tries to go, and do it again, you got to give him a lot of respect that he's doing it his way. But he made national news. Number one, I think it was a younger, local reporter. What he should have said is, "Hey, I'm from, so and so." He should have just gave the letters of what station he was from and not CBS. That's a rookie move. But Deion didn't take a question from him. He said it's not him personally, so you could respect that. And he said it's just with CBS in general. Well, it goes back to when he was first started on TV, and the executive. You've seen it also with Pat McAfee talking about the higher up at ESPN by name. And now Deion's in a position that he could probably talk about CBS with their 3 letters. And if you dig a little bit deeper, you would know why. The reason why I knew a little bit more about it, when I was fortunate enough to get accepted to go to NFL broadcast boot camp, there were some guys there. They're pretty prominent. Talked about how it is for, African Americans in the business, big personalities in the business, how they judge you differently. And obviously, Deion had a huge personality from the time he was probably born until college, the pros, and he was a little bit ahead of his time as far as NIL and marketing yourself.
Yeah.
And people take that into the business field. And then in his original or first one was he was on TV. And so that's where that came from.
That's unfortunate, because if he would have been in that's where Pat McAfee excels. He's like, don't necessarily need you anymore.
Yeah.
And he just go and get big. He's like, I got the streaming numbers, the podcast numbers. I'm sure Deion back then probably could have that same sort of pull.
Yeah. And it wasn't there. Whereas you got to think Pat McAfee got turned down by everybody, went and did it on his own.
Exactly.
And retired from football. Jumped in a little wrestling, and he did. I mean, he got, as you say, he got it out of the mud, and and now look at him.
Yeah.
He's right behind Stephen A. Smith and running things there.
Still talking crazy about
right.
ESPN while he works for him.
You're right. That's when that's when you know I am here.
Yeah.
That's
Can't get rid of
that's definitely big man energy going on. But then the second part with Deion was there's a local reporter there, and if you think coaches don't know what guys say or say about them, they do, and it could easily come from their like sports information director or somebody that they know that hears something that the person saying it doesn't know has a connection with Deion. There's a lot of prominent former NFL players involved in the Colorado sports media market. And so you can, obviously find, kind of really put two and two together where the lines of communication can get up there to Boulder. And, the funny thing is he just kept asking the dude, like, what's wrong with, like, what's going on? Because it's obviously some of the stuff that he says, it has nothing to do with coaching. That lets you know what is it. He's actually trying to get the guy to tell on himself.
Are we talking about? I mean, his name's on the papers. Is the Steve Quarter article?
Yeah. And it goes past. It goes beyond Deion. It goes from Mel Tucker. It goes from the coach previous to Mel Tucker. It goes to some of the Colorado players. So when he's talking, and that's what people are like, oh, why would he say that to him? Well, Deion's doing it his way, but he also is not going to back down. Now he's one of the few guys that can do that because he can. But what people always just take a snap, and I'm not making excuses for Deion. I just know a little bit of knowledge, so he's definitely pulling. He's pulling these guys out to Front Street to hold them accountable as much as you want to hold him accountable. Now on the Colorado, the most interesting thing was you had a player, a safety, address the team and essentially say, "Hey, look, I had 2 crappy practices and nobody's holding me accountable." You talked about the video that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about how we were as a team and how I had to be as an older player. That guy is right there letting you know that some guys have been going through the motions. So that bodes well for Nebraska because that lets me know that little edge that you need to really fight through. This is that game second week. That's gonna be a white knuckle game.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an exciting. It's gonna be an intense game, and that's what you need, that edge.
Well,
right?
It's getting to the point of when Auburn and Alabama play, it's like even if Alabama has paper on talent, like they're way better.
We saw it last year.
Exactly. We see it all
Did you see it last year? You saw the Mill Road through it, right? Hail Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, rivalry games, it does not matter.
Yep.
I would say this, Harrison, we're on the way to going to national championship. We were beating the brakes off Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
They came back like Return of the Jedi on us, and we had to make a tackle 4th and 14.
Yeah.
And to get out of there. Okay? This game is going to be on and popping, but it also lets me know there's a little bit of edge right there. And I'm a little surprised with Deion. And I don't know. I'm just saying, just from the way he worked as a player, way he worked in the media. I know guys that worked with him in the media and said even though he had a big personality, he was always prepared and he was an extremely hard worker. High maintenance, but he was worth it. That you're at a time now, and it might have been a coaching move to have players say it versus the coach. It's like I used to always listen to my uncle versus my dad. My dad should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, how dumb is that, right? But it's I think if I can guesstimate, I think if we do the right steps, we could have a little bit more edge to us and have edge, meaning more to fall back on, a little bit more edge in a team like that. If they have a little bit cracks in their foundation, can be broken.
Yeah. Well, what does it make it? It's 4 game losing streak if you drop it again this year.
Yeah, that don't mean nothing to me. I worry about this right here. This right now. I can't worry about what that, because if you do that, you'll never go anywhere. That's why I say, and I get it. You have to understand the past to hopefully rectify the future. But what Nebraska did before Coach Rule in there, it can affect Coach Rule, but it's not his responsibility, because he wasn't here, and so it's a good opportunity for Nebraska to get off to a good foot. And put some pain on Colorado. It'd be nothing better to beat Colorado. So got a little bit of announcement. The Friday of Colorado. We'll start putting it out there, but it's already been out there on Facebook. I'm not a big social media, but I got to do it more. is that we're going to have a autograph signing here. Me, Jason, Peter, and Grant. 94 was the first. We got a big reunion that weekend. And then we're going to have a kind of a VIP meet and greet over there at Highball. Tell little stories. Have a couple little libations, and kick this weekend off good.
That's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, it is.
Recommend you guys trying to
look,
get
man.
in
I
and
always say
sign up
Jason and Grant are like Kaiser. They like the missing link. Try to get these brothers to come out. So I think I got commitment from them. We might add one more player, maybe get an offensive player. But the guy that does my dad's stuff, he's doing it. His name is Ben Thies. He does a really good job. So should be a good event. We'll be selling tickets, to come in and for autographs and stuff, and then there'll be other stuff for you to buy. So it'll be. Grant doesn't get back as much. Jason doesn't do much. So that's why I thought it was a good deal, all three of us to do it. And I don't do much either as far as that stuff as well. So that's good. And then eventually Inside the Huddle will be moving to 8:00. That's another announcement, probably after Labor Day. And then we'll be onward and upward. And I think, based on the turnout of what we got going on here come Friday in Colorado, I think we might have another announcement. I'm going to hold off on that. I got to get confirmation of that. Get some guys on, on air and a podcast. But I think we got some good stuff moving along with the ticket. So we're going to take a quick break, come back, put a bow on this bad boy. I want to show some love to a former Husker that's doing some big things. So we're going to take a quick break. Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. We'll be right back.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
How about the top 4 games? But I think week 2, Colorado, of course. You got prime time coming in, and you want to shut him up because if he comes into Lincoln and figures out a way to get a win, you will never hear the end of it. And then I think week 9, Ohio State. Who are we as a football team at that point? But if we go in there and actually compete and give ourselves an opportunity to win, now you got to be talking about us. We got to be in the contention. Week 12, you come back, you're at USC. And then I think week 14 at Iowa. Drop the Iowa game. That's a bad look because that's the last taste that you get in your mouth before the bowl game.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation right now at appliedconnective.com.
Bill Bush here for Hefty Seed Company, who wants you to know about their summer meeting on Wednesday, August 21st. You know how deeply I care about ag, so I'm locked into these topics for the meeting, including input costs for the 2025 growing season, weed control, fertility, seed traits, new varieties, herbicide, and crop protection pricing, and all industry news. RSVP today, heftyseed.com/store meetings, or call 402-646-2040. It's the Hefty Agronomy Meeting at Harvest Hall at Seward County Fairground on Wednesday, August 21st from 1 to 2:30 with lunch at 12:30. Free lunch. Don't miss it.
All right, it's time for Final Jeopardy. It's been a tight contest today that all comes down to this final question. No summer picnic or family get-together or trip to the lake is complete without this particular item. Let's go first to Bob.
What is beer?
No, that's not it. Think about the kids. Over to you, Farley.
What is corn on the cob?
Tough to grill that on a boat. Wrong again. Grace, this time for the win.
What is Bure's cheese spread?
We have a winner! Bure's cheese spread, available in most local grocers in Nebraska.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Have an anniversary coming up? I've got you covered. Celebrate your love with the timeless elegance of jewelry. This anniversary, give the gift of sapphires, emeralds, rubies, or gold. Find the perfect piece that reflects the beauty and depth of your commitment. Whether it's your first anniversary or your 50th, surprise your loved one with a gem as beautiful and rare as she is. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through August 11th, enjoy USDA Choice Whole Ribeye Loin for $10.99 per pound, all-natural thick-cut Iowa chops for $1.99 per pound, hand-cut extra meaty loin back ribs for $3.99 per pound, and Dungeness crab clusters for $19.99 per pound. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Have you ever gotten a car deal so good that you can brag about for decades? This is that deal. The government has given us a $4,000 in instant credit on vehicles already at the historically lowest prices. Cars that were over $50,000 just 2 years ago are now selling below $20,000. See the deals here and drive away the car of your dreams at a price you never thought possible. Go to 4000off.com, 400off.com to learn more.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Can you guys just keep a straight face?
Yes.
Unlike
yes.
that, but we'll try. Okay. We're just three players talking. Come on, let's try this.
This is how the sugar hill.
You're driving to Wichita, writing this down.
You're not helping anything.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to Inside the Huddle with Jay Foreman, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
Well, we're back. Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. We should, Harrison, have a ticket pay thing just to have the in-between segment talk. Just the little clips. Everybody does clips. Pretty funny stuff. But I want to give a shout out to Adrian Martinez, man. He was the MVP of the UFL, and then he got signed with the Jets. He gets to play. He gets to learn from Ron. And yesterday, man, he was balling.
He didn't take a single step back. Like he just keeps going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think
that's some difficult throws on the money.
Yeah, and they were thrown. And this is how I think he's gotten better. Now, granted, it's one game, and it's crazy. He won the MVP, but got benched in the championship game. But he ended up playing in the championship and winning it. And then he's here in training camp. I mean, obviously you're playing with better receivers. But I think he's gotten better at a little bit decision making. Now he's got to continue along the process of playing quarterback at conventional quarterback. I think I heard from at least some friends up in Detroit that when he was up there, he had a good camp, right? It lets you know, man, and especially with the way pro football is where they will make a spot for a player that can give you I'll say the curveball, right? Where you got a drastically different than Aaron Rodgers. But you gotta give him credit, man. It's like he's played a lot of football, which I think helps. I think it helps him coming right from playing, right? Live action. And he's got in that situation, and he had a really good game yesterday. He really did.
He just keeps continuing to seize the opportunity. Like,
and that's all you can do. And that's all you can do. And once you get in and you get some confidence and you really invested, you can get better. And I will tell you this, the quarterback pool from 8th grade to pros is not very good. That's why everybody gets turned over. So if you can find a way to get your niche and play and get better, you can stick in the NFL a very long time. Look at Chase Daniels,
Gardner
Minshew, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then also, somebody that really is played well over the last couple of years, who Nebraska didn't want, and I think that was like Bo and those guys, is Easton Stick. He started for the Chargers. Had one bad throw, but I think he's shown he's gotten better. Has the ability to run. He can think his way through the game. So I'm just saying, I mean, look, you got to give Adrian a ton of credit. Didn't win much here. Had a lot of pressure on him. Made some bonehead plays. Made a lot of spectacular plays. Didn't have anything in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to Kansas State and played, kind of helped, I think winning helped him, see what it looked. Yeah. I think seeing what it looked like.
Well, and just not having the entire game on his shoulders too. That was kind of
right, sure, but seeing what it looked like, seeing what how guys move, I think it just changed. I mean, if you go to a winning team, you kind of move different. And and here's an example of a guy that I know that got a lot of heat when we played together in the NFL, and he's told me and he said it on air, is David Carr. Number one, kind of same situation. Number one pick, given the starting position, was getting killed as far as getting hit. I think he got PTSD from it. He was just beat up so much. He was taking sacks and just was seeing things that he normally wouldn't see. He was able to go to the Giants, play behind Eli, learn what it took, right? Saw a real quarterback, how he prepared, other stuff like that. Then he was a more than serviceable backup, came in, won some games, came down to Carolina Panthers and did the same thing. And he said if he knew what he knew later in his career and was able to play behind somebody early in his career and saw what it took, he would have played better longer in his career. And maybe that's the way it is for Adrian. I still hate that he left, but that's his personal choice. But look, man, you got to give him credit. He was out there balling yesterday.
And he still shouts out the Huskers all the time.
Sure, he better.
What a great ambassador. I mean, hey.
He better. You got to look. Hey, man, I'm just telling you, man, it's a different day and time because I always wonder this, if NIL and all this stuff was here, would we had guys leave? It'd be very hard for any of us to leave.
Yeah,
we were a little different. We were wired a little different though.
Well, clearly,
you could probably
shows by the win-loss total.
You might have got beat up on the way out though. You know what I mean? What is it? Was it the Warriors come out and play? We'd have been outside. The black shirts were outside. You know what I mean? How bad do you want to transfer, Harrison? How bad do you want? Do you really want to put your name in the portal?
No, I think I'll.
Yeah,
I think I'll stick it out for another year. Here.
How did you get him to flip? Hey, everybody would talk about how do you get him to flip back? Don't worry about it. We got him back. Yeah. Anyways, appreciate you guys listening and the support. Be on the lookout for the link to sign up. Bring your kids, bring your family. Get some stuff. You can bring some cool stuff. We'll have mini helmets, jerseys, and then obviously get in and get some autographs. But again, Inside the Huddle brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. We'll holler at you next week.